In this final episode of The Orange Soul, I will be going back to Smallville. Just like the Marvel Universe has a version of the Orange Soul, so does the DC Comics brand. Their version is similar to Marvel's. This comes from the Smallville episode titled HEX. Yes, HEX. Like a hexagon or a witch's hex. In this case, the main villain is a witch. The episode aired on March 26, 2009. It was the 169th episode of the whole series, and the 17th episode of Season 8. So 69 for an inversion number, and 17 for Q or Quetzalcoatl. The person who played the role of the witch is Serinda Swan. She was born on July 11th, 1982. Serinda loves being a part of activist groups, as they are called. After looking through them, the one that caught my attention was the Heifer International organization. Heifer International, on the surface, is working to eradicate poverty and hunger through sustainable community development. There's that word again, sustainable. The organization distributes livestock and agricultural training. However, Heifer International is backed by some shady companies and foundations, which would explain the sustainable terminology. These companies include the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, BlackRock, Cargill, MasterCard Foundation, W.K. Kellogg Foundation, and Walmart. Yes, Walmart. So, something is wrong here. Heifer International sends Serinda Swan to these poor countries as a representative. Here are some images from when she went to Cambodia. I'm sure she's well spoken and quite friendly. The Cambodian people seem to like her. And maybe she has some genuine motives for wanting to help people. I want to be fair. I'm not going to say she has some evil motive. Maybe she's just clueless as to who's backing the Heifer International. So here's my theory. These evil organizations backing this charity group are using it to get their foot in the door. Once the locals have accepted them and believe they want to help, then comes the rest of it. Then they start sending in the medical staff and say they need to be immunized with injections. And the Cambodians, for example, will think it's okay since they helped them out before. But let's get on with the Smallville episode. The name of the character that Serinda plays is Zatara Zarana. That's Z and Z, or 26 and 26, for 8 and 8, which is 88. And of course, the obvious name Zatara is a take on Satan, Zatara the Witch. In the first clip, Zatara comes to the Green Arrow for help. She wants his help acquiring a book that belongs to her family.
John Zatara? The maestro of magic, he was your father?
I lost more than my father. I lost his entire legacy, recorded in a book that's been passed down through generations. There's a Bible's worth of my heritage in those pages.
She says the book has a Bible's worth of information in it. Of course, it's not the Bible. It's a book of witch spells. Almost mockery in a sense. Next clip.
See, I have the ability to grant one wish. Big or small, whatever you wish for in that moment, it can be yours.
Well, that's very tempting.
Well, there has to be somebody you've lost. Something that you've done that you wish you could take back. Get me my book, and I'll make it happen. Offer expires at midnight.
So Zatara offers Green Arrow a wish. That's kind of like the devil saying he'll give you whatever you want if you sell your soul. The Green Arrow says it's tempting. The devil always provides temptation, another Bible reference, providing a clue as to the nature of this witch. Ultimately, Green Arrow accepts though. Next clip.
Give me my book, and I'll give you your wish. A deal's a deal.
There's some really dark stuff in here, Zatara.
No. Please, don't. It's the only way I can bring my father back.
I'm sorry. Not good. You don't want to do this.
You can't just bring someone back and change fate.
As you could hear, the Green Arrow is starting to realize he made a bad deal. Surprise, surprise. Green Arrow says there's a bunch of dark stuff in that book. To be fair, she just compared it to the Bible. She didn't say it was the Bible. In other words, it's the opposite. Also in that scene, there is some coded programming as the Green Arrow is chained to the electrical transformer station. The Archer, with the arrows, the syringes, is chained to electricity, connecting the syringes to the Electric Kingdom. The next scene is where the subject of the Orange Soul starts to appear. It has the same idea that Marvel had about the concept.
Lois Lane, Daily Planet. I'm sorry, we thought you were under some kind of...
You know.
We know Zatara gave you a wish in exchange for some information on a book.
I never should have told her how to find that book. I'm afraid she's too blinded by her grief to see the danger that she's in. She must be stopped from using that book to resurrect her father. She isn't prepared to make the sacrifice. From what I could decipher, the incantation to bring a life back required the taking of a life in return.
So in order to bring her father back, someone else must die.
A life for a life. A soul for a soul.
A soul for a soul. The same thing as the Orange Infinity Stone from the Avengers. Marvel and DC mirror each other a lot. Some of their characters are mirrored in each other's universes, almost like a twin world. So the concept of trading souls comes up in an episode where the Green Arrow is chained to the electric grid. The trading of souls connected to the Electric Kingdom and syringes. This is similar to Marvel. Remember, Marvel has Hawkeye the Archer and DC has the Green Arrow. They are one of the examples of mirror characters. In the next clip, Zatara the Witch begins her spell to bring back her father. Using this book to bring back the dead makes me think of the Necronomicon from the movie The Evil Dead, where the people in the movie become demonically possessed. Here's the clip.
Grant me my wish. Resurrect John Zatara. Da et morta. Daddy? A life for a life. No, it was supposed to be me. Close the door. Rude as a soul.
Do you see why I used this episode for the Orange Soul? The scene was filled with orange energy, orange electricity, and an orange portal, as there is about to be a trading of souls. The character Chloe enters the scene and gets snagged by the spell. Chloe means fertility or blooming. In other words, it sounds like birth. The electricity, the syringes, the HEX, giving birth to the Orange Soul. The name of Zatara's father is significant as well, John Zarana. However, I will cover that part in my next video series. This is my last video on the Orange Soul. Let me also point out a couple of images from the HEX episode. Zatara is at a party where the character Chloe is at. Zatara offers Chloe a wish. Chloe accepts because she thinks it's just a party gimmick. The next morning, her wish comes true. She looks in the mirror and sees that she has become Lois Lane. She has become someone else. Rather than a trading of souls, it is a trade of appearance. This concept has been in many movies, including the recent Wonder Woman 1984 and the Quantum Leap TV series. Also, Chloe, who now looks like Lois Lane, is wearing rabbit slippers. Another twinning clue, 2 rabbits, the rabbit symbolizing a possible biological event. In another scene in the HEX episode, Chloe tries to explain to Clark that she only looks like Lois Lane. They go to find Zatara to reverse the spell. When they go to where she performs, she's not there. But notice the doors where Zatara performs. There are 2 hexagons for 66, the twinning. The M&M are for 13 and 13. But is that all from the Smallville series on the Orange Soul? Well, it is not. There's another episode before this one called Bride. It aired on November 20th, 2008. It is the 10th episode of the season and the 162nd episode of the series. In this episode, the character Chloe is getting married to Jimmy Olsen. The wedding winds up getting crashed by the villain Doomsday. There wasn't much really I thought needed to be heard, so I'll mostly use images. I will show this clip though.
It's 1100 hours, people. We only got till sunset to change this little heifer house into my cousin's chapel of love, so let's pick up the pace.
Lois Lane called the place where the wedding is being held a heifer house. A cow, or in Spanish, vaca. We know this one by now. The cow is where the word vaccine comes from. It comes from the Spanish translation of vaca. So that clip has our injection element. Now for some images. The wedding between Chloe and Jimmy Olsen has an orange color theme to it. The Orange Soul. A marriage between two souls. The combining of two souls. There's an orange arc of flowers where the couple takes their vows, combining their souls under the dome. There's an orange bouquet and a cake with orange flowers. Lois Lane is even wearing an orange bridesmaid's dress. Now it may seem silly to notice the orange colors at the wedding, but something happens at the wedding that ties it all together. You see, a wedding crasher shows up, Doomsday, the Kryptonian nemesis of Superman. Doomsday is there to kidnap Chloe. Why? In the Smallville series, Doomsday has a secret identity by the name of Davis Bloom, and he's fallen in love with Chloe. Davis Bloom is a paramedic in the series, so this associates Doomsday with the medical industry. This makes Doomsday the biological event. In this image of Doomsday, you can see that he has bony spikes coming from his body, a possible reference to a spike protein. Also, on his chest is a Y symbol. This made me think of the flux capacitor from Back to the Future. Time travel. So in this episode, we have a connection of Doomsday to a medical event, spike protein, time travel, and the Orange Soul, since he attacked the orange-themed wedding, a marriage of two souls. Once Doomsday has captured Chloe, he takes her to the Fortress of Solitude. At this point in the series, Brainiac, the graphene artificial intelligence, has taken over the fortress. However, it has no body. Once Chloe is brought to the fortress, Brainiac merges with her again. This then connects the graphene artificial intelligence to the Orange Soul and a medical event. The Daily Planet itself has Saturn spinning on top of it, on top of an oxidized copper pyramid. In the HEX episode I just mentioned, orange lightning strikes down onto the building. So there's an electrical component to the Orange Soul, just like there's an electrical component to the graphene artificial intelligence. It all fits together. Also in the Daily Planet, the elevator that is used from the Smallville series has two pentagrams and more symbolism on it, associating Satan with time travel. Throughout Season 8, the season with Doomsday, there are more orange appearances. In Chloe's apartment, she has the orange and blue color scheme of the Orange Soul on her walls. What else is on her wall? Behind Jimmy Olsen, we can see a picture of train tracks. Remember, I said that train tracks represent DNA. As you can see, the train tracks cross, forming an X. The X and the Orange Soul. This also ties it to genetics. Remember, in the first part of the Orange Soul, I talked about hybridization. Also, there's an orange fireplace in the background, and I don't have the image, but there's a movie poster of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, a giant. Attack of the 50-Foot Woman released on May 19th, 1958. It was 66 minutes long, so there's your 58 for Trump and the 66 for the twinning. The main character, Nancy Archer, was played by Allison Hayes. Miss Hayes was born on March 6th, 1930. That's 3-6 or 3 6s. She died on February 27th, 1977. That's the 58th day of the year, the Trump number once again. So that's like a synchronicity. The movie came out in 1958, and Miss Hayes died on the 58th day of the year. She was 46 when she died. Trump was born in 1946, and of course, 77 is another Gemini number. And let's not forget that the character's name is Archer. I have already mentioned Marvel's Hawkeye, DC's Green Arrow, and the Archer from I Pet Goat 3. This is a syringe reference. What other movie poster in Chloe's apartment is there? Clockwork Orange, the element of time, and the orange soul again. I haven't seen this movie, so I can only go off the images and what is written. In the movie poster, there is the one eye symbolism. The eyeball and the main character has makeup on one eye. There are also 3 triangles or pyramids stacked on one another. The bottom pyramid is piercing the pale woman, entering the womb. The main character is holding a knife in the poster. Apparently, the movie is considered ultra-violent. Stanley Kubrick was the director. I remember his daughter showed up on the Alex Jones show a few years ago. That was when I saw it. She was wearing a weird outfit. She was also wearing a hat that had a metal arm protruding from her forehead. At the end of the arm was a camera. Alex said Stanley was trying to wake people up. I disagree. Kubrick made the deal also. They show this poster many times in Season 8. They want to make sure the audience sees it. Clockwork Orange released on December 19th in New York City, the eve of the winter solstice. Then it released to the rest of the US on February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. The main character in the movie was played by Malcolm McDowell. He was born on June 13th, one day before Trump's birthday. Both movie posters have references to Trump, the Orange Man. Well, that about wraps this Orange Soul series up. I know I could add on to it, but I think you get the idea. Now you know what to look for. And with my Black Dawn of Graphene series, you also have an idea of what to look for with that also. It all ties together. The Graphene Black and the Orange Soul. The colors of Halloween. Samhain. I will be starting a new series of videos which will be interesting also. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps. Keep that relationship with Jesus alive. Don't just pray to Him, but talk to Him also. I do.